welcome to Telling the Tale. It's the podcast where we'll go through every single Telltale episodic narrative adventure video game. I'm your host, Mitchell Wolf, and I'm joined, as always, by other host, Dustin Cornelius Jackson.
There's nobody named Ian in this game, and yet they're the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, let's get a few more Ians in this thing. And we're joined today with special guest. He's been on the show before, but we love to have him back. Please welcome to the show our good friend Andrew.
Hello, it's me. I'm here.
Hey, Andrew. If no one's ever heard from you before, can you tell people a little bit about yourself?
I am Dustin's roommate, so he deals with me all the time. Yeah.
Okay.
But I've avoided all of his thoughts on this episode until I was done. He played these days ago.
Yeah. I played this 1 day ago.
I played this a few hours ago.
I played it before Dustin did.
We have a good spectrum of how long we've played it ago. We should use that to make a good podcast.
That's a good idea.
Andrew, before we get going, do you want to talk about a video game ever that you've worked on or made or like you think is cool?
We are releasing a game with the Torch 60 called Astra Hunter's Ozma. It is releasing on January 5th.
How do you spell that?
Astra, Hunter, and Zosma. Zosma.
Okay.
That's good.
You said Zosma as if that was... People are going to have to know how to spell Zosma.
Yeah, it's a star, but it's a star nobody's heard of.
Yeah, that is tough for stars. Can you believe that there's like a bunch of stars out there that they don't even want to name?
Yeah, like Larry.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they named this one, and it's Zosma once again. Z-O.
Astra Hunter's
But I did
Zosma.
I did the soundtrack, so people should play that because it's gonna be good.
Cool. Well, you know what game you didn't do the soundtrack for is Guardians of the Galaxy, a Telltale series, Episode 5.
Well, I kind of wish I did because it's got a good soundtrack.
It's got a very good soundtrack. It was released on November 7th, 2017, directed by Jason Latino, designed by Molly Malone, Matt McManus, and Matt Boland, and written by Jessica Krause. Creative leads are credited in this episode where they were not credited before. I believe that's just like creative leads of the whole series. Mark Darren and Zach Keller. So thank you all, the Telltale bunch who put this episode together and the season together. This is the finale of the Guardians of the Galaxy Telltale series. Before we get going, I want to ask the panel we've assembled here today, of which I am part of. What do we think? Is it good?
I liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. I do feel like I would have liked it less if I picked a certain thing earlier on, but I'll get into that probably later.
Okay. Yeah, let's... we'll have
Actually,
a lot of time
do
to
we
talk
want
about
do
it.
we want a lightning round real quick on some of my earlier episode choices?
That's a great idea. Yeah, let's... Because we've talked about where Dustin and I are. Where are you in your progress through this series? What'd you do? What
Okay, so one, I will say the first episode, I gave the body to the Nova Corps, and I got kind of this cool like action scene where like I was I gave it to the Collector, not the Nova Corps, and I got this cool action scene where I'm in the Collector's Museum, and there's like this like wormhole kind of thing that's just like in one of his cases. It was actually like pretty sick. Gamora like picks it up and like
she picks
fights
up
Nebula
a wormhole?
by like she picks like up a wormhole. Like she gets her arm stuck in it, so then she uses it to like attack Nebula with it.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's fun.
And there's like these floating mines and stuff. It's like crazy town. I don't know what happened with the Nova Corps side, but I assume it was less cool of an action scene than that because
we got Rooks.
Yeah, we met our good pal Rooks.
Yeah, see, you made a friend. I got a cool fight.
Well,
we had
that
a
friendship
space
did not
fight.
last.
We had like a ship fight with Gamora and not Gamora, Nebula and the Nova Corps.
Yeah, so the Collectors sent me like emails like, oh, you know, like I think it was something about like compensating for the damage or whatever. And also, I will say it was kind of funny, like in the episode, like when after you've like kind of destroyed the museum basically with your fight with Nebula, he just says, "Oh yeah, sorry about the damage," and then you see, I don't remember what her name was, like the collector's like assistant, and
Mm.
she just like scoffs and doesn't say anything, and there's like no audio, so I think they just didn't want to get the voice actor in there again.
Yeah, that makes sense.
One of those things, which is a little funny. So yeah, and then I did not destroy the forge.
You did
So
not destroy. Okay, so I also am with you on that. We didn't destroy we empowered the forge.
both of you?
No, you and
No.
I. Dustin didn't.
I did
Oh,
destroy
okay.
it.
Yeah. Yeah, so
Yeah, so yeah.
for us, we have Baldin in this episode.
Yeah, I
Paula's
don't know
son.
how this episode would go without that. I'm actually kind of curious
Well,
because
Dustin, I believe, does know, so we'll have to talk about
Yeah.
that. Other choices. I'm just thinking back through the season. Did you get Nebula to join the crew?
I did. She's very very dead.
Yeah, she died for sure.
That's okay.
And what about Drax? What happened to Drax at the end of episode 4?
So I let him go.
I also let him go, and I think Dustin
I
did
also
too.
let him go.
Yeah.
But I watched Adam play also, and I know what happens if you don't.
Well, what happens if you don't?
Well, instead of do we want to get into how the start of this episode starts out?
No, I want to hear about the thing that you just said about Adam.
Well, the thing is, it mainly impacts because it's like Gamora's pissed off at you instead of Rocket at the start. So like,
Okay.
and Groot gets like disfigured kind of a little bit. He
Interesting.
loses an arm. He
Oh,
loses an arm, and his face gets a little burned on one of the sides.
okay.
Okay.
Because they activate the engines. So yeah, and then Gamora's pissed off that Drax is dead. So
Wait. So for
or Gamora's or Rocket's pissed off that Groot is
Hurt.
damaged.
okay,
Yeah,
That makes sense.
got it. How does Rocket?
In-
how does Groot
instead.
get damaged?
because since you didn't give enough time for Groot to step out of the way and Drax to jump through, Rocket like activates like the engines or whatever,
Okay,
and like it like burns him.
got it.
Gotcha.
So
So that makes Rocket pissed off at you instead of Gamora.
Yeah, so it's
How does
basically
Drax
like, oh, which is
react?
the only one who sticks with you, and then Drax,
I assume Drax would be pissed off at you as well.
well, the way this goes is at the start of this episode, you think Drax is dead, but then you find out he's actually alive.
right. Well, that happens.
That happens for us, but
me
what
too.
about if you don't let him go?
Oh yeah, no, Drax just stays there and he like beats the shit out of you.
Oh, okay.
Drax beats the shit out of you.
Yeah, no, like there's this whole thing where like he's like, "Oh, hey, you didn't let me do this thing, so now you like owe me in blood or whatever." And then he just like kicks his ass, and then I think Adam said like, "Oh yeah, now we're even. You punched me, and now we're even." But like, yeah, like no, he was about to like keep hitting, so like, it was a real intense. You can tell Drax is not happy.
I guess we made the
And
right
then-
call then, because
Yeah.
we had one less person
Yeah.
pissed off at us.
I will say I do feel like it's kind of bad that like it feels like this is objectively the better choice.
Yeah. It's
That
to let
happens
Drax
sometimes.
go. I don't think it's a bad thing to have an objectively good choice. Sometimes you need to be tested a little bit. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, I care more about like if there's actual follow through for the choices that you make, which sometimes there's not, and they all just kind of loop back on the same idea, which is more offensive to me personally, to be given the prompt that like, hey, this story is chosen by your choices, so how do you
Right.
feel about that? And then like it doesn't matter.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, so a bigger difference with this episode, I think, is going to be the existence of Baldin in our game, where he does not exist in Dustin's game, because he is pivotal in this episode for us.
Yeah, I guess the way it went for me was he just wasn't there.
Cool. Yeah. Okay. So that's very interesting. So for us, he approaches us, or it's Peter and Rocket for us, or for me, in the bar. He taps on Peter's shoulder and he's like putting us at gunpoint, and he's saying, "Look, I need your help. I need you to stop my mom. She's going crazy. This isn't how we should be doing things." Yeah, so then...
Did you have him put the gun down?
Yeah, I haven't put the gun down.
Okay, I was like, there's a long period of time where you're just talking and he's just got a gun to you and you're supposed to be nice to him. And
yeah, because like you can either talk about what he's talking about, or you can say like, "I'm not gonna talk to you until you put the gun down, man," for like 3 choices in a row.
It was like almost comical how many times you can be like, "Yeah, no, like please put the gun down."
You're not getting anything out of me until we get through this. Yeah, so the whole deal with that is like he wants you to agree to a deal where if he helps you take down Hala and removes Hala from power, his own mom, and he instates himself into power, which is a little iffy, you know? I don't know. I don't know this guy. But that's like what he's trying to do. To be what he says is to be more peaceful. He'll help the Guardians with that so long as they don't kill Hala. That's the deal he wants to make. And you can agree to that or not. I agreed to it. Andrew, did you agree to it?
I told them we'd do a lie detector test and pulled Mantis over.
Yeah, this is after that, with the deal that Baldin asks you to make with his mom.
Oh, so, yeah. So, my deal was that we'd pretend he's a hostage.
Mm-hmm. But did you agree to not kill Hala?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so...
Sorry, I was misunderstanding the question.
I did that as well.
I guess it's just something you'd have to do to progress.
To make the deal? No, I think you can be like, we can't promise anything.
And he's just like, "Welp, I guess I'll go anyway."
Yeah. Yeah, so at that point, you're right, Andrew. In order to interrogate Baldin, Rocket goes and finds Groot and Mantis. And Mantis sort of acts as the lie detector there. So then they're back in the fold. They're pretty easy to convince to come back, I guess.
Yeah, well, it seemed like Groot didn't want to leave to begin with.
Yeah, Groot was not mad. Groot was just trying to look out for Mantis.
And I'll also say, even when he got, like, horribly disfigured in Adam's version, like, he was not mad. You still get the handshake scene, even with Groot, like, messed up.
Even with
He's
his
like,
messed
"Yeah,
up
it's
hand?
fine. Don't worry about it."
Yeah.
Okay.
He just shakes with the other hand. It's fine.
Yeah, so between Baldin wanting to team up and us getting Mantis back in order to interrogate Baldin, that's how we get on the way to finding Drax again and getting Gamora. So, Dustin, you don't have that, so what happens?
So Mantis and Groot come in and they are like, "We gotta rejoin the team because we gotta stop Hala because she's killing a lot of, like, millions already could be dead. We gotta make this happen. We gotta find the others." So I don't get a lie detector scene, but what I do get, and I don't know if you guys also got this or not, but we got a scene where Mantis and Peter, like, merge minds.
Right, yeah, this happens.
Yeah, okay. I guess I just did not get the lie detector
So you just
scene.
skip straight to that?
They just say they just come back and because they want to. That's kind of...
Yeah, they come back because they have to, help stop her, yes.
That does not feel as good, I gotta say.
Yeah, that sounds lame.
It was a little... It was fine. I mean...
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it just makes sense they come back. So the thing is, Mantis can feel everyone that Hala is sucking the life out of.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how she knows she has to be stopped. She's like, I can feel like every single person she's sucking the life out of. We gotta stop her, get back together and stop her. This sucks. I can just feel everyone dying.
Wow, that really does suck. Yeah, I don't think we get that sort of reason for that. Mantis does not seem fussed with it until you like convince her, hey, you should rejoin the team for this because it's kind of life and death.
Yeah, she's fine.
Yeah, she's mostly just fine. And her
I don't know. I don't think that sounds that much better than what I got. You just convince her to rejoin?
Well, yeah, because there's this...
She wanted
this
to
new
rejoin.
way to take down Hala. So, like, there's new information we didn't have before because of Baldin.
Right.
So, like, it makes it more... Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. It sounds about the same to me.
It just feels asymmetrical. But in any case, the mind melting, the mending, mind...
You go
blending.
into, like, that part of Final Fantasy VII...
Yeah, it's
with, like,
a bunch of obsidian platforms in an otherwise white void. And I guess that's what Mantis's mind looks like. It's a bunch of obsidian platforms with nothing.
Is that what all video game brains are like?
I think so, yeah. Yeah. If you work in enough video games, you're like, seen those before.
Yawn.
That's where my character's brains are at.
Brain zone.
Yeah, so you have a... thing, I don't know what to call this, where Mantis asks Peter to think about his emotions that he has about the other people. So, like, the first question is, what is your first emotion that you think of when you think of the other Guardians? And I said proud.
I also said proud.
I'm gonna remember like half of these, but I didn't take notes on this part.
The second question was, what do they think about you? And I said conflicted.
I also said conflicted. What the hell?
I think I also said conflicted.
And
my goodness.
Okay. And then Mantis asks, think of like the happiest time you had with them. What were you feeling? And I said proud a second time.
I did not say that.
What did you say?
I think I said proud the second
I
time.
said awesome.
I was about to say awesome. I liked
awesome.
seeing awesome there as a choice.
Yeah.
So yeah, pretty
awesome
pretty
is
close.
an emotion.
We're really not very different.
No. But it's fine. I did think it was awesome. It to me, it felt like Peter would say, "Yeah, that was awesome. That was great."
Yeah, Peter Griffin maybe. But
he wouldn't say that. He would say "freaking sweet." You know it.
That's true. So you can tell where the other Guardians are somehow. Like if you explore Peter's memories and feelings about them enough.
Yeah.
So that tells you where Gamora, Rocket, and Drax are, even though for me, Rocket was just with us.
Yeah, same.
So
it just connects to the ship.
Yeah, it just connects to the ship.
And Peter just says, "Oh, I guess that makes sense. He never left. He's just here."
Yeah, but Drax being here
there.
was like how we found out Drax was still alive. And we talked last episode about how we kind of wish it was more serious than that, even though we're pretty sure he's going to come back. We were right. He's alive.
Yeah.
And we find him. So there's that.
I kind of wish that they like he's just fine. He's like completely fine, and then like Groot just gets like messed up in the other option. It's like they should have messed him up. He should have gotten like a scar or something.
Yeah,
his head should have fallen off.
Stubbed his toe.
Yeah, like maybe his head's got a little scratch on it. Yeah, so that's how you find out where Gamora is and the fact that Drax is just still there.
Yeah.
So you have the choice to go to Gamora or Drax first. I went to Gamora first.
I went to Drax first.
I went to Drax first.
I don't think it ended up mattering.
No, but I
felt like showing Gamora that Drax was alive would be a better option,
exactly.
and then Peter just doesn't do that.
Yeah, I went to Gamora and I was able to tell her, "Hey, Drax is alive actually." we need to go get him. So that was like what I wanted to happen there, because I kind of thought that would be the thing that would convince Gamora it's important to come back. We have to go get Drax.
That makes sense.
Yeah. But I did that, and the only ramification about which one we did first that came into play was once we got Drax goes, "Okay, it is time to go save Gamora." And then we're like, "No, we actually got her first." And he's like, "Oh, well, I just assumed you would get me first because I am your favorite Guardian." And he was pretty upset about it, actually, for like 2 seconds. And
that's fun.
Drax is unpleasable in this entire series, I think.
Yeah.
He was fine with me.
Nothing's going right for him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just thought, like, you think your friend is dead? I feel like that would be the priority to get first. But I also get your reasoning. That makes sense that you could use it to convince Gamora to come back as well.
Yeah, I thought like we would take Drax to see Gamora kind of thing, but no, Peter just goes alone and then like doesn't even bring it up until like she's already tried to like kill him or whatever. So
yeah, well, we've had a question of like, which one do you want to do first earlier in the series, with the bit where you need to, I think in episode 2, where you need to decide whether to go to Lila's grave or Nebula's attack first. And
right.
in that case, like, the time sensitivity had an impact, and it kind of mattered. In this case, I know that they're both fine, so like, it really doesn't matter to me which one I get first.
Right.
You know? Yeah. Except for the fact that like Drax was upset that he was second, which is like understandable, but also the limits to, I think, how much impact that could have had.
I will say Drax was in high spirits.
He was happy. He felt good. But it's just for that one bit on the ship.
I told him he was invincible, so now he's like the entire episode he's like, "Yeah, I'll be fine. I'm invincible."
I'm never going to die, looks at camera.
I just told him to stop trying to kill himself.
Yeah, I told him that too.
He begrudgingly agreed.
I guess.
It was fun to do.
I did kill a worm.
Yeah, he killed a worm so bad that in its death throes it had to poop, and then he was the poop. And he loves this about that.
He says he's going to tell everyone many times.
Mm-hmm.
Good for him.
And Adam doesn't get to have that.
That's true. I don't think he hasn't played episode 5 yet, so I have no idea how that's gonna go. But I guess you, the listener, will not find out.
Yeah. So something else that I got with Baldin, Dustin, was between the two ones, between getting Gamora and getting Drax, we had a call from Hala on the ship. Did you get this?
Oh, yes, I did have a call from Hala.
So for us, or for me at least, the call was basically only about, did you take my son? Where's my son? Is he okay? Don't you hurt my son? And we kind of made it seem like we have him hostage.
Right.
To attempt to trade the Eternity Forge for Baldin. Like, we made that, we tried that.
Right.
She didn't want to do that, and she was very upset at Peter and kind of just hung up and didn't talk about anything else. What did she talk to you about?
So she called and said, "Peter Quill, I'm going to kill you, everyone you hold dear to you, everything you've ever known." And Peter said, "Sorry, wrong number, hang up."
So she just like, she was just sitting there like getting angrier and angrier in her own head that she had to call you.
Yes, she's letting Peter know, you will never know a moment of happiness again. And Peter's just like, yeah, okay.
You know, back in high school, I got a few calls like that from an ex, where it was clear like they didn't have anything to say. She was going to
destroy your home?
They were just like, hey, remember that thing 4 months ago? And I'm like, yeah.
Fuck you.
Like, yeah, that still sucks. And then that was the call.
Well, you know, I guess hopefully she got it out of her system.
Yeah. High school's hard for everyone. Yeah, so then after that, you start to put together a plan for how to take down Hala. Rocket develops a plan. The long and the short of it is that Peter needs to put some explosives on the guns on Hala's ship. So that when they try to fire, it explodes on them. But also there's 4 other roles that need to be done in this plan. Someone needs to hack the main computer. Someone needs to guard the hacker. Someone needs to find Hala's helmet, except it turns out this does not need to happen. And someone needs to create a distraction for the main army of the Kree on the ship so they don't find the other people.
Right.
And you can choose which of the Guardians to put on which of these tasks, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah, I thought that was fun.
Yeah, what were your
I liked
rosters? Oh,
I liked that this was an actual choice too.
Yeah.
I expected it to be like, oh yeah, you should put this person on this thing instead of. But no, it just lets you put whoever on whatever.
what did you do?
Andrew, you
So
can go
I
first.
made. Okay, I made Drax the hacker.
How did that go?
He hacked open the computer.
He hacked it open with
his knives?
Yeah, he
with an
with
axe?
his knives.
Okay,
Yeah.
did that work?
That's funny.
Yeah, it worked.
Great.
It also even had a pop up when I chose Drax to do that. It was like Drax ... is the hacker. So
Peter's just feeling a little silly today, given these roles.
yeah, he had too much silly juice. I had Rocket do the distraction, and he makes like a Thanos hologram that plays voice clips from the fight you had with him earlier.
Oh, that's
wow.
fun.
And that it scares the shit out of everybody, and they're too scared to come out. And then I had Groot steal the helmet, and I had Gamora as the protecting the hacker.
Nice.
Gamora's it was how's protecting going, and then she says done. Yeah, I'm just kind of standing here.
Cool. Yeah, I made an attempt to try to match the roles to the people.
I tried.
I made Rocket the hacker. I made Groot protect Rocket. I had Drax cause the distraction with the Kree, and I had Gamora steal the helmet.
Nice.
Um,
Mine was basically the same, except switch Groot and Drax.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah, I thought, if you need someone to defend the hacker, get the guy who's good at fighting people.
Yeah.
Plus, he wanted to defend Nebula earlier on, and you really didn't let him. So
He did not want
True.
to defend her.
Well,
not
no,
defend,
he wanted to guard
but,
her.
He wanted to kill her. Yeah,
guard from her.
that's a
Yeah,
different
give him
deal.
people to kill.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
revealed after the fact, once Rocket is sort of on the intercom talking about what needs to happen. For me, because Gamora was the one on the helmet, Gamora says, "Okay, I got the helmet. What do I do with it?" And Rocket says, "Great, throw it out the airlock. It'll be really funny if she sees that she's missing her helmet and it's in space." Which is
I guess
how you
he's
find
right, it
out
would've
that
been
Rocket has made the whole operation so much riskier for everyone else by taking away one of their key players to work on the helmet thing.
Yeah, but it would have been funny though.
Yeah, it would have been funny.
if she had noticed.
Yeah, she didn't even notice.
I don't think her priorities were there.
Yeah, that's on her, really.
It's on Rocket. I think it's on Rocket. Well, you know what? It's a little on Peter, because when Rocket says, "And then we'll get her helmet," Peter doesn't say anything about that.
He's like, good idea.
I think you had the ability to protest it, actually.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Be like, why do you, yeah, be like, why do you need that? He's like, yeah, no, I need it, trust me. And I think,
Oh, wait, that's right.
Yeah.
I picked that because Rocket says, "Oh yeah, you can detonate the bombs on the weapon through her helmet."
Is that not true at all?
I guess
that's not true at all.
It's just a lie.
He made that shit up.
Yeah,
Yeah, he just really wanted the helmet.
he's a really good liar.
Yeah, so you hear most of the other, you mostly don't see the other people do their jobs. You hear it over the intercom. It seems to go well enough. And Peter is just on the outside of the ship applying the bombs. People try to like spacewalk out to him to fight him, but it's mostly fine.
No one spacewalked out for me because they were all dead.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't
just
think I
took
had
them all
like any
out.
resistance. Gamora just took them all out. He was like all of them, and she just says yeah.
Well, Gamora was the hacker protector for you?
No, yeah. I think so. Yeah, she was the protector.
So
But she just took out all the her way of protecting was to just do all the work.
So no one came out to attack you when you were putting the bombs on the gun?
I don't think so. If they did, I didn't take any notes on it.
I had a few
don't-
people come out, just like a few, and you just shoot them and they're easily dispatched.
yeah.
But I had Drax protect the hacker, and boy, he was really having the time of his life.
Yeah,
He was laughing. He was saying, "There's so much blood everywhere. It's great."
I'm not positive that
fun.
it's related to who you choose for the roles for people coming out on the guns.
Yeah.
I might just not be remembering.
It's fine. They didn't like. It's not
Yeah,
like it was,
it was just-
thing.
They were no resistance if
Yeah.
Just
Easily
a small
taken out.
handful of QTEs, and then you finish it as successfully as you would have otherwise. Then you go in the ship, and the whole gang gets together. You fight Hala trying to press the button on the computer that fires the laser because no one's there to actually fire it anymore.
Right.
But yeah, that's where you fight Hala, and it's done to the song "Crazy on You," and
It's a good song.
It's a really good. It's my favorite fight scene in the series for sure.
Yeah. Very good.
Yeah, great, high quality QTEs. We'll call
Yeah.
them.
A lot of them going from Guardian to Guardian.
Yeah. There's a few parts in this where it feels a little bit more like it's almost trending to a rhythm game with the QTEs on the screen and what you're pressing, what directions you're flicking.
Right.
Yeah. Which is good. Like that's where it should be.
Mixes it up a little.
Yeah, like those one-off like roll to the side to roll out of the way of a boulder is kind of they don't do a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have, let's see, you have that fight somewhere. Oh yeah, okay. Then you do end up firing the lasers. For me, Hala fired them, not knowing what we did to them.
Yeah. That happened to me as well.
And the whole ship starts crashing into the eye of nowhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's fun.
Andrew, what do you think of the like fight scenes in these kinds of games and in these Telltale games?
Just in general?
Yeah, just in general.
I think sometimes they feel way weightier than others.
Yeah,
like,
totally.
This was definitely a high effort one, you know, like
yeah, this one was great.
a lot of camera panning and stuff. I feel like usually they kind of feel a little lame, but this one felt cool. I liked that Groot got like a kill shot with the platform. I thought that was like good like environmental use.
Yeah, there's a big platform that falls on Hala at the end. And it's good that Groot got to do it.
Yeah, Groot.
Yeah,
Groot
I wonder
had
if
a lot
I
to
wonder
do
if
in
he
this
still gets to
episode.
do that if he's missing an arm. Because
Oh yeah,
I guess
that's a good
I'll
point.
never know. But
Yeah, good point. Yeah, for me, Groot has a bunch of flowers on him too. I didn't think about this last episode, but did you not get that, Dustin?
I didn't have any flowers on Groot.
Yeah, Groot's got a lot of flowers on him because when he went with Gamora and Peter into the one tunnel in the last episode, like when we could have picked Rocket, he found like these weird mushrooms that spored like spore clouds, and they seeped into Groot, and then he grew a bunch of flowers, and he got really embarrassed when the flowers started blooming on him.
Oh,
it's paramount to like popping a boner in Groot culture, I suppose, to have a bunch of flowers just grew out of him. But
understandable.
Gamora and Peter were very supportive, and they were like, "Oh, that it looks great."
Happens to everybody.
And then Groot blushed.
oh wait, so yeah, I don't think I got that either. So that must have been like if
You
follow
went
the
with
team.
Rocket. Yeah.
Yeah, I went with Rocket.
Yeah, you gotta have. I think you gotta go to the Gamora tunnel.
I did tell him he was being a big jerk though. So
yeah, happens.
He
happens.
was.
We got into the screaming match or whatever. So that was cool.
There's one final Peter's mom flashback when the ship crashes against the Eye of Nowhere. And this one really got to me. This was like the emotional peak of the episode for me.
Okay.
Where you're out doing that camping scene. You're building a fire, and it starts with Peter's mom saying like, "Hey, it looks like that fire's getting pretty low. Better build it up." And you can build up the fire a little bit. You have a choice between lighter fluid and matches, and that feels like it's the important thing, but it isn't. Because then you keep talking with her for a little bit, and she like apologizes for falling asleep at the wheel before, and she tries to make you feel better about the fact that like she is dying, and it's gonna happen sooner than later. And then she like says, "Hey, you better build that fire up more. It's getting pretty low." And Peter's confused because like you just did it, and then she's like, "Oh my god, did I already say that? I'm sorry. Yeah, it's my mind is." And then she like breaks down a little bit. Peter has the opportunity to say something to her of like, "Hey, it's okay," or we shouldn't have come here, or whatever you want Peter to say in that moment. And then she calms down, and then she says, "Hey, that fire's getting a little low. You should probably build it up a little bit." And like it's at that moment that Peter realizes like, wow, this is really
Pretty
happening.
bad.
This is very bad. Yeah, I've had a few grandparents at this point. I, being Mitchell Wolf, real person, have had a few grandparents who have died from complications due to Alzheimer's disease. And it feels, this is not what Peter's mom had. Peter's mom did not have Alzheimer's. She's like young. She's like in her 30s.
Right.
But like that kind of thing is just heartbreaking to see happen. You can see it happen in real time very easily with some of these neurodegenerative diseases. It's pretty telling and pretty hard to come back from when you start seeing that kind of thing. I'm not sure what the narrative function of this cutscene is still. I like it in and of itself a lot. I guess it does the job of reminding you that Peter wants his mom back right before the end because it comes up.
Right.
But yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that's true. It is a good scene, though.
Yeah, I thought that was probably the strongest like scene of the episode. I
think so too. Yeah. You land. Or you wake up from having crashed, I should say. And Hala and Baldin and the Guardians are still kind of going at it, but you have the Eternity Forge now. It fell into your hands. And you have the option. This is the big boy choice of the episode. For us who have the Eternity Forge, Dustin, I would love to know what happens, but get this. Yeah, what?
You also have to decide Hala's fate before that.
Not before that. After that. Because the first choice that you have is the Eternity Forge is full. Hey, you're on the skull of a dead Celestial. What if you bring back the Celestial? And the giant-ass god of space kills all of the Kree ship in one swipe. What if you do that? So that's a choice you can make, or you can say, I'm going to spare the Kree. I spared the Kree.
I brought that head back to life.
Oh my god. Did you?
That's
incredible.
Yeah, I did.
Okay. How did that go?
It shoots like a giant laser, and like
it just kills all the Kree?
It just
wow.
Big laser.
Wow.
That's crazy.
How do you feel? Are you okay? How do you feel about that?
It was cool. It was
it was cool.
Yeah, I like the laser.
That's so interesting.
Yeah, that's intense. Is it just alive now? Still?
I don't know. It doesn't really come up again.
Wow.
You'd think it would.
Yeah, I guess yeah, you would think it would, but I don't think it had any impact past the fight scene. It just shot a laser.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, Dustin, you don't have any kind of choice like that?
No sort of choice. What happens for me is after the ship lands, you find out everyone's all right, but you see Hala, she is fucking dying. Because the Forge is you learn earlier in the episode that if she does not keep sucking the life out of other people, the Forge will kill her. So basically, she needs to do that to live at this point. So since you're distracting her from doing that, she's dying. She's basically dead at this point.
Wow, okay.
So she pops up from under the rubble. She's dying. Her mind is going because the Forge is basically disintegrating her from the inside. So she thinks you are her son. And you have the choice to say to her, you can say, "Hey, I'm not your son," or
cool.
Or you can just kind of play along, which is what I did. She's dying, like she's done horrible things, but you kind of feel pity for her as she's fading away and thinks you're her son. So I just kind of talked to her like I was her dead son.
Wow.
And
the difference between your ending and Andrew's ending is intense.
Yeah.
It's huge.
Well, I will say it really only destroys the fleet, so all the ones that are like standing around in the battle are like not blasted.
Okay.
That's a little better.
Andrew, at the beginning of this episode, you said that you wish you made a different choice previously. Which one was that?
Oh no, I feel like I made the correct choice and would have not liked it if I didn't.
Well, which was the choice?
The Forge, like whether to destroy it or not.
Yeah.
I feel like I would not have liked how the story went without it. Like knowing
I liked
how
it.
It goes.
I thought it was great. I didn't have any problem with destroying the Forge personally.
Well, there is one other thing that the Forge does at the end of this episode. But to talk about the choice here a little bit, I chose to not revive the Celestial, and I spared the Kree, and I basically used it as a threat, though. So I told Hala,
I could
give up your leadership and give it to Baldin. So we installed Baldin as the leader of the Kree.
Cool.
And he was very appreciative of that, and he was, as far as we can tell, a good guy about it. And he's going to take the Kree to be a more peaceful, constructive race after that point. And he asks the Guardians if he can have Hala under Kree custody. And I let him do that too, so long as she's not going to be like
a problem.
Yeah.
So I actually had her taken to the Nova Corps.
Yeah, okay, that was the other option. I thought I could take her to the Nova Corps and it would be understandable. How did that go?
They come in and they take her away.
Is
Cool.
Baldin like really upset about that?
No, he's like, oh yeah, I get it. Let's chill.
Man, he does not have like a lot of love for his mom. He's got some, but it's not.
He didn't
like
want to
the
see her
most.
killed.
Yeah,
but that's about where it stops.
Yeah, that's about the majority of it.
Also, yeah, like destroying the fleet did not seem to make him any more mad. So,
Yeah, okay, yeah,
he's like, yeah, like I'll take the remaining Kree and we'll tell stories about how you saved whatever our race or whatever.
Yeah, you kill all of his friends and he's like, I'm rubber, you're glue.
Yeah, it is kind of like that. Yeah.
We'll tell stories about how you killed all of our people and that was apparently good.
It's like I'll rebuild the Kree's reputation or whatever.
There's a plane here making a big buzz. We love that. So okay, last thing in the episode, you go to the bar again. You settle the tab by saying we just saved your ass, and he's like, yeah, okay, I'll erase the tab.
Fine.
And Mantis points out for me that there is still a whole charge left in the Eternity Forge.
Oh, I will say, backing up to the bar tab, I don't know why my version of the story they didn't just pay it because we got money from the collector. Like,
Oh yeah,
You just
we
didn't
got
want to.
paid.
You just didn't want to pay.
But yeah, no, they're just like, yeah, no, we're not gonna pay.
well,
Yeah.
why would you if you can just not?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that makes sense.
but like,
So yeah, we had a charge left in the Eternity Forge, so we were given a choice. We could use it right now to bring back Lila, Nebula, Peter's mom, or Kamaria, or to let the Forge die.
or
And Dustin, I suppose you don't have this.
No, I have
guess
something
Nebula
else.
would not. I guess Nebula would not have been an option also if we didn't like take her with us.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, Dustin, what's your thing?
Well, tell me how it played out for you guys first.
I was very. I thought about it for a while. I had to pause it and think about it for a little bit because I decided that Peter's mom, as much as it would be great to see her again, and that last scene was very sad, died of natural causes, and you know, who's to say if that was before her time or not? If you're trying to be very clinical about it, so I decided not her. I also decided not Nebula, because she died in combat doing what she wanted to do.
Right.
So it was between Lila and Kamaria. A very hard choice, but I chose Kamaria so that Drax could raise his daughter.
Okay.
And she comes back, and we have her again.
I chose Lila because I've seen a little movie called Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Yeah.
So
That makes sense.
I was like, yeah. It's like wish fulfillment for a movie that came out years later.
Yeah, that is interesting. I thought about it in the same way. Like, yeah, I'd love for that not to be the problem. What happens when Lila comes back?
She's back.
Yeah.
And they have a toast. And she's like, yeah, I'm back.
Yeah. When Kamaria comes back, it's similar where she's like, hey, Dad. And Drax is like, nice.
Cool. That's great. It worked.
Neat.
It maybe is a little weaker talking about it than the concept is, I guess.
Yeah. Just the actual scene in the bar is not very full. Which is, I really want to look up like what would happen if it was Peter's mom. I should watch that because that feels like the most thematic.
It's just exactly the same. Peter's like, cool.
Thing is, too, it could have also just been like building up for another season they never got. Which,
yeah.
Well, we find out they might have at least thought about it after the credits.
Well, yeah. I mean, they gave themselves a lead-in that they could have taken, whether or not they ever actually planned the season.
Okay, so talking about this actually makes me very glad I destroyed the Forge.
Well, what happened?
Because this led to probably my favorite scene in the whole episode.
Ooh.
So you're all celebrating. They forgive your tab at the bar. Mantis pulls you aside and tells Peter, when Hala died, when her body fucking disintegrated into little bits, you do see her do this. This isn't just out of the blue. She absorbs some of the charge of the Forge when her body disappeared. And she tells Peter, this is not enough to bring someone back, but I can give you a few minutes to talk to your mom.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And Peter's like, what about everyone else? Everyone's lost someone. And Mantis says, you have done so much for me and everybody, Peter. I want to give you this.
Wow.
And so you can choose not to. You can choose to talk to your mom for a few minutes or just don't. And obviously I chose to talk to her.
How is she doing?
Pretty good. No, so you go to like just a pure white room, just empty of everything. And Peter's like, whoa, what's this? And then you see your mom just kind of there. She turns around. You both have a tearful reunion. You kind of joke around a little, too. Your mom's like, what the hell is that jacket you're wearing? And Peter's like, yeah, well, I thought it was cool. Everyone thinks it's cool.
Everyone loves it.
Yeah, and she's like, all right. But yeah, then they have a tearful reunion. They hug each other. Peter tells her, look, this is only going to be for a little bit. They both say, I wish there was so much I wish I could say to you. She asks Peter if he has people there for him, and he says, yeah, I got people who care for me a lot. And she's very relieved to hear that. And she's also very happy to see you kept the tape player she gave you. And so you can choose what song to play for her. I forget the other choices, but you pick her favorite song, which is the one that plays a lot.
Is that the ELO song that?
Yes.
Living Thing. Yes.
It's
It was killing. It was killing me during that episode that you didn't know it was called Living Thing.
We
after
don't
they
all
say Living
know
Thing.
things.
Well, that's why you're on the podcast now. Everything works out.
Yeah.
I am
To
a
tell us
noted
the name of the song.
big ELO fan. I saw them live in concert pretty recently, so
Yeah, and now we know the name. So yeah. So I chose to play that for her. I forgot what the other... You have like 4 song choices.
Mm-hmm.
And I chose that one because Peter specifically said it was her favorite song. And then you just kind of stop and listen to it with her for a little bit. For like half a minute or so before she disappears. Peter says goodbye. And yeah, then the episode ends.
Wow. That's
powerful.
powerful.
I thought that was an extremely powerful scene. I loved... that might be my favorite scene in the whole series.
Very good. Yeah. Just hearing you describe it is fulfilling.
Yeah.
Maria's just going to join the Guardians for me, and she's going to, I guess, grow up in this very rough way to grow up. Yeah.
We're going to do a lot of not great things, and you're just going to have to be part of it, I guess.
to be fair, she is a warrior
Yeah.
in training or whatever. So
Mm-hmm.
she knows what she's signing up for.
This does make me a little upset we didn't get a season 2. Imagine Guardians season 2, and it can be either nobody came back or anyone you chose to bring back is back.
Yeah, or what if
that would be
they're
so
the
different.
new player character, whoever you brought back? And
that would be interesting.
Yeah, it could be Lila, Nebula.
Yeah, you play as Peter's
Kamaria,
mom.
Or Peter's mom.
I will say, I think my version of Lila that got brought back, she doesn't have like her cybernetics or.
That makes
think she's
sense.
just
You
like-
brought her back as she was fully organic.
I wonder if Nebula would have that too if you chose her.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
I
bet she would.
Yeah, I bet she probably would.
I'll have to go through and see.
Although
all
they
of
do
these.
have like a model for her from that one episode where they show her flashback.
That's true before the cybernetics.
Yeah, just a smooth blue head.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Looks weird when she doesn't have all this stuff.
Yeah, what a freak.
Well, that's the body of our episode. Anything else you want to talk about with this season, Andrew, our guest here today on the podcast?
I feel like I liked it a lot, but I definitely would have been a little mad if I played this whole season and then deactivated this thing and then found out, oh yeah, you could have just like brought her back to life.
Yeah,
Like-
I mean, like, it's a very powerful
like, for
scene you got,
real.
Dustin, but on the other hand, we could have just had Peter's mom.
I think what I got is more powerful than that. I stand by it. I feel like I would have been a little ripped off if it's just you choose someone to... Well, no, I would have been fine with it at the time, but then if I had seen the ending I could have got, where that's way more powerful, I think, than just choosing one of you get someone to come back.
I mean, to me, it feels like the realization of Peter coming to terms with the fact that his Guardian's family is worth not being self-indulgent for, because he's got like all of this pent up remorse for losing his mom, and self-pity for being an orphan and growing up in a harsh environment because of that. He's got like that all in his head all the time, and yet when push comes to shove at the very end, you can make the decision of like, yeah, it's still more important for you to have your kid than for me to see my mom again, who died like all moms do, unfortunately. And like I liked what I got out of that, and I think I would have liked it with Lila or Nebula as well, even.
See, I was thinking about it though, and if it just brought Lila back as like without all the cybernetic stuff, she's got like maybe like I don't know how long do otters live? Like 12 years tops.
Okay, let's look that up.
So,
How long
like-
do otters live?
Yeah,
Yeah, because
that
Rocket
out.
still has cybernetics. You just don't see them, right?
how long
Right.
do otters?
10 to 15 years. Not bad.
Yeah, that's not too bad.
Some individual otters have lived as long as 20 years in zoos. So
Wow.
yeah, not bad.
Yeah, so if you put Lila in a zoo,
Yeah, you got to make sure
She'll be fine.
she's got those zoo environments to thrive in. I wonder if the Milano is closer or further to a zoo than just being out in nature.
well, the thing is, you know how much Lila likes being in a cage.
She loves it.
Yeah, so you just got to put her in that zoo.
Yeah.
Yeah, right at home.
Yeah, I thought this whole season felt a little muted to me compared to some of the other seasons we've gone through. Not in terms of really like the tone or the amount of bombast being shown in the story. Like in that stuff, it's kind of on par with like Tales from the Borderlands, which we've said is the most epic it's ever felt in this formula. Right. But something about it, like it just doesn't, for me, come to that level of height of like a Walking Dead season or Tales from the Borderlands or or Batman even. I know that we compared it to Batman on our last episode as well. Yeah, but like I still think that it proved itself quite well by the end. It did not stumble the landing at all.
Yeah.
It used all of the pawns that it has quite well, like bringing in Mantis or bringing in Lila or bringing in Nebula or what to do about Thanos. Like, still, like I think the smartest thing this game ever did was in its first episode where it killed Thanos immediately.
Yeah, I'm so glad they didn't revive him to make him the big bad at the very end.
Yeah.
I will say also, that's one of the things that the Square Enix game also decided, like, yeah, we'll just keep Thanos dead.
Does they kill him in the beginning of the Square Enix game?
No, it's like oh yeah, he died in a war a bit ago.
He tripped on a banana peel.
Yeah. There's a lot of like DNA from this that gets pulled forward to that. Like they do still have like the telltale-ish choices and like it like takes like the whole codex thing. I don't know. You can definitely tell that they did their homework on this game to make the Eidos Montreal one.
Cool.
Took some inspiration from it.
Yeah, I do want to play that. Maybe I'll play it. Maybe I'll play it next.
It's really good, actually. I think it's worth playing.
Yeah, I should probably raise it in my priority list. I do want to get around to it. Yeah. How about you, Dustin? You got any season-wide thoughts?
Not really. I thought it was good. I thought it was not like the best Telltale game I've ever played. I probably wouldn't even put it in my top 5, but I enjoyed it all the same.
Yeah, I can't go in the top 5. It's not there. And it's not.
I will say, like, as far as like adapting this property, though, like making something that feels like the Guardians of the Galaxy movie, which is what it's kind of trying to do.
Definitely,
you know,
definitely.
I feel like they absolutely hit the nail on the head with it. Like they did, you know, it's about that level of like Marvel movie quippiness and like whatever. Like a fan of that movie will be like, I like this because it's like the movie I like.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
and
I think that's, you know.
I don't think it like overdoes it with the jokiness either. Like it knows when to
Well, neither.
let
I
it
don't think
seem.
Guardian. I think Guardians is like the one Marvel thing that doesn't
Yeah. Well,
get over.
which is interesting because
can
it
toe
feels
the
like the
line,
one.
especially in this game. I've seen it toe the line a lot further to the line than the movies ever did. Especially in that first episode, I was a little nervous because the writing in episode 1 of this game was quite a bit quippier than it would become in any subsequent episode.
To be fair, I think episode 1 is the best time to be more quippy because the stakes haven't been risen yet. Like it's still pretty. It's at the beginning of the adventure. It's fine to get these jokes out.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, but it like if I didn't have this podcast, I would maybe be put off by it enough to not want to keep going.
I getcha.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if it was at that level, but like I didn't like it. It was something I did not enjoy seeing.
Right.
Yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy is interesting because it's the same kind of just like really fun to watch, high profile pop fiction kind of thing that Star Wars was when it came out in the 70s and 80s at the beginning, or like Harry Potter was at the turn of the millennium. Not even just sci-fi, like anything like that, right?
Right.
But with those, if you want to make your own adaptation or sequel or side story, you can very easily imagine, like, okay, well, the story of Luke in Star Wars was the original trilogy. If we're going to make our own Star Wars video game or TV show or sequel movie or prequel movie, what Star Wars did that was cool was invented this concept of something called a Jedi or the Sith or bounty hunters. So like you could imagine your story starring one of those, but a different one. And you could make up your own story with that. And then like, because it's promoting a system in which you can fall into. You could be a Jedi. That isn't Luke. You could be a different Jedi. Or you could be a different Hogwarts student or wizard elsewhere, or you could be a different airbender or avatar than Aang, or you could be a different Pokemon trainer than Ash. And in Guardians of the Galaxy, it's like, no, it's the story of specifically Peter Quill. Like, you can't have a Guardians of the Galaxy story that isn't the story of like Peter Quill, orphan from Earth. His mom died of cancer, and then he was abducted by aliens. And Rocket Raccoon is a experimental animal. And Drax, his family died, and Gamora was adopted by Thanos, and Groot's a tree. And between like you really can't move too far out of it, which I do think hurt this series a little bit. Like the stuff that was similar to the movies was often done very well, and we pointed it out of like, hey, that Rocket backstory scene that was done very, very well, and that was similar to what they would eventually do in movie number 3. But sometimes
I kind of feel the opposite, because like the thing is, like, okay, you can actually revisit these characters, but like Marvel gives them like the license to do new things with them. Like the fact that Thanos is already dead, like that's a wild thing to just be like, yeah, you can just like kill off like the big bad and like make a story where that's not a factor, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, or like the different backstory for Mantis here. You can
Mantis is wildly different in
Mantis is very,
Square Enix game.
Definitely. In the movies as well. Yeah, Mantis is just done differently all over the place, I guess. That's the one area where they really experiment.
So there's room to play around, I think.
There's definitely room. I'm not saying that they copied anything too far.
I think part of the problem too is that this didn't get a second season to do new things. Because like, okay, you do have to revisit you're establishing a new version of these characters over and over again because you don't get a sequel, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like the new version of these characters would have been something that would be excited to see in the sequel. Although, so we got a post-credit scene we didn't talk about. Where some weird new character I don't recognize, dressed in black, finds Thanos' corpse, and that's it. And it looks like maybe they'll bring him back, like they'll try to bring Thanos back, but I don't know who this character is. I tried to look it up. I don't see anyone talking about it.
I also feel like that would have been real lame.
Yeah, to bring Thanos back, like I appreciate it as a post-credits scene of like, oh, that is something to think about. Like you'll imagine these characters' future. If you imagine them having to fight Thanos again, that's one thing. But like, I don't want to play that game.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What if they just took Thanos' body and turned it into like a car?
Oh, that's what that guy, because he was kind of dressed like in leather, like a race car driver might be.
Yeah, so what if he was just like, I'm going to turn this body into a car and drive it around?
Cool.
Yeah, that'd be good. That'd be a good direction.
Mm-hmm.
I know this is only like a tangential thing, but like, I will also say, like, if you played this one back to back with the Square Enix one, earlier, like you're getting like all those emails, and like one of them is from like the Universal Church of Truth or whatever, which is the plot of that game. So it's like kind of interesting.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, it's weird that that's not actually a sequel to this. It feels like it is a sequel to this in a lot of ways, but isn't quite.
Right.
Yeah, they definitely took a lot of notes
from it.
Yeah, cool. I mean, that's interesting.
Yeah.
The Star-Lords of those games kind of look similar.
Yeah, except one has dumber hair.
Well, yeah, I think,
I do not like how Peter looks in the Square Enix one.
I think it's just because Chris Pratt had pretty dumb hair by the end of the Guardians movies. His hair got like weird by the end of those movies.
It's like
poofy. He had weird hair.
Yeah, he got like weird and kind of porny in his mustache as well. Like by the end, he took a
Peter had a mustache in this episode at one
because
point.
like in the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie, he really looked like a rock star. But maybe he looked too much like a rock star and had to retract a little bit.
Let's de-rockify a bit.
Yeah, he needs to be a sad alcoholic. So let's just show him way worse.
Sad alcoholics are not cool.
Okay, well, I believe that's the show. Let's talk about our segments.
I love segments.
Andrew, as our special guest, I'd love to invite you to go first with your segment. You have the choice of talking about your golden moment, weekly guy, or choice cut. Which one's up?
I think my weekly guy was balled in.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I feel like it's impressive that they like established him in like a single episode, basically, because he was like a non-factor in the previous episode, and then in this one, it's like you get his whole deal like really quickly.
Yeah, I feel similarly about that.
If I was balled in, I'd put on a hat.
Pretty good, Dustin.
Thanks.
Yeah,
continue.
Keep that going.
I think the thing that impressed me with balled in especially was that like I couldn't imagine how the story would have went without him. Like it was like he was like the plot in this. He was the inciting incident for this whole episode.
Yeah, but he does not have to be there.
My choice cut was like just who to revive.
That is also mine. Yeah.
Because like I was really thinking about it. I almost picked Nebula just because like she's the only one where like her death was the Guardian's fault, kind of. It's like if she didn't join the Guardians, she would have been alive.
Yeah, that is an interesting way to look at it. I was not thinking of her as a potential candidate.
And my golden moment has to be the flashback, which was really good. I think very impactful scene.
Yeah. My golden moment is actually the Hala fight, but yeah, maybe I should have said the flashback. It's up there. It's one of the two. But the Hala fight is just one of the best examples of that telltale choreography for the QTEs.
Right.
Like doing what they do, what they seemingly want to do with these games, like is make them choice based and like make them really thoughtful and narrative based, but also They just want to have epic fight scenes all the time. And I think that, like, at its core is a conflict in game design.
Right.
Like, I don't know if those two things go together, like peanut butter and jelly. But this one's, like, the best one I've seen in a long time. So I'll give it to them.
Yeah.
I like it. Yeah. My choice cut was the revival, like Andrew said. My weekly guy, though, is Groot. I've been slagging off Groot a little bit because I've always said that Groot's like not really a character. Groot is an emotional bind that you can have with between the other actual characters. But Groot this episode had some great moments, like trying to convince Mantis that they had always been friends and there were good times in the group.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about I guess it was a pretty short scene, but the flashback to when they all met.
Yeah, they met in the holding cell when they were all arrested.
Yeah, and Peter had the mustache.
Yeah, Peter had the what Chris Pratt would later have as his porn stash. So that's interesting. Yeah. Wow, Chris Pratt in real life got that mustache later.
Life imitates art.
Wow. Yeah, so that was just endearing for Groot. So yeah, those are my segments. How about you, Dustin?
My weekly guy is also Groot, basically for the same reasons you just said. He had some great standout moments this time. Something that helped me was, since I made him the distraction, you don't even get to see it, but I just liked imagining it. Rocket is telling you what's happening. He's like losing his shit. He's like, oh man, you gotta see this. Groot turned like the whole hall into like a big forest, and there's like these giant flowers that are just eating the Kree whole. Oh, it's great. And Peter's just like, I wish I could have seen it.
That's cool.
Yeah, so Groot, very good. I liked him in the flashback. I liked, even though you're not really doing that much, I liked making his arms stretch through the vent. That was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. My choice cut was, since I didn't get to revive anybody, was what to say during your speech, your motivational speech to your crew. And you get to choose something to say about each of your teammates. And you have some options that are like legit compliments, and you have some that are kind of backhanded compliments, like, Rocket, boy, does he suck, but we love him.
Yeah, it was like, Rocket, he's got a lot of fleas, but we keep him around or whatever.
You sure are a real dick.
Yeah, I said to Mantis during that, like, yeah, she invades people's privacy.
Anyway.
I think mine was like, yeah, I don't know you that well, but
Yeah, I told her, I said, Mantis, the newest friend of the Guardians, and she lost her shit too. She was like, oh my god, I've never had friends before. She was very happy about it.
Yeah, that's barely even a compliment too. It's just like, you are factually the newest of us.
Well, to be fair, what else does she have to go off of?
Yeah, no, totally.
I think I got to reaffirm that Drax was invincible in that scene, so I like that.
I told Drax he was a real family man.
Why did that... That's nice, but like, why did that psych him up?
It just made him feel good.
Okay.
He was like, yes, I am.
So that was your choice cut? What was your golden moment?
Golden moment was the scene at the end with Peter and his mom.
Of course.
I thought that was wonderful. Favorite scene like the whole series, I think.
Yeah, it makes me a little jealous. I should have maybe brought Peter's mom back. No, I should have brought Kamaria back.
Well,
I feel right about that.
Well, I think my thing is with choosing to bring someone back is one of the points I felt through the season was everyone's lost somebody, but now the Guardians are a family. So I feel like it would have felt weird to say, like, the Guardians are our family now, except you get to have someone come back.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know, because also in our story, Baldwin is back, and he's just fine, and he made the right call.
Yeah, I did not have Baldwin.
Yeah, Baldwin really sets the stage for like, no, you can come back, and it's good.
Yeah, to be fair, I didn't miss him. I didn't know this guy.
Well, that's been our show. Thank you so much for joining us today, Andrew.
Yeah, it's been a good one.
Yeah, it has been fun.
I'm glad that we're able to have you on before we finish. We only have a few more games left, and we have only a few many. What am I trying to say? We only have a few more weeks left as we head into.
Yeah, we're coming to the end.
Yeah, we're gonna take a break for holiday and New Year's for the rest of 2023. We're gonna see you again in 2024, where we'll have 3 and/or 4, maybe, series left, depending on how we handle that. I believe the next one we're going to handle, though, is Minecraft Story Mode Season 2. Got to get that all taken care of before we eventually see that live-action Minecraft movie that is apparently based on the story of this game.
How crazy is that?
Ridiculous. Andrew, did you not know about that?
No, I did not.
Yeah, Jason Momoa is going to star in the live-action Minecraft movie, and he's starring as Gabriel the Warrior, a Telltale character from Minecraft Story Mode. So if you want to see that Minecraft movie, the first movie based on a Telltale game, it's fucking this one for some reason, and it's it's not Walking Dead. That would make too much sense.
That would be crazy.
It's not.
So we're all gonna go to the theater, right? And do a movie review.
Of course, yeah. Yeah, if they put out a Telltale movie, we're not going. You think that? That's crazy.
I would not have guessed this would be the first one.
Nope. I would. Wolf Among Us would have been a cool one.
Oh yeah, that would have been cool.
Yeah, have it by the same like special effects team as Detective Pikachu, but like. In that case, it really, really makes a lot of sense that they're all kind of ethereal and wispy and monstrous.
Weird creatures.
Yeah, weird, like off-putting looking. I mean, I love the way Detective Pikachu looks, but I also sympathize with people who don't think that's what Pokemon looks like.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, well, that's been the show. Thank you so much for listening. Subscribe to us whenever you can. We'll be back with Minecraft Season 2. And until next time, have a great summer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked yeah.